Okay, welcome everyone. I see the numbers of attendees ticking up. We've got, looks like that's a solid number right there. Welcome all to the BEDC funding product and process lunch and learn. We got an hour, so I'm going to do my best to go. I mean, there's quite a bit of stuff to go through. So I'm going to try not to rush, but have a good pace so we can get to the end. Feel free to ask any questions you like as we go through. I like that sort of interaction. As I said, there is a lot of stuff to go through, so to wait till the end may be a challenge. So I want this to be interactive. If you have any questions, of course, pop it into the chat, and I or my colleague will see it, Deshaun, and we'll go from there, okay? All righty, let's kick it off. Okay, so what do we do? So we do all of this, and it looks like a big list, and we do a lot of big things. So one, general business and technical advice. You know, you can set up an appointment online. You go to bedc.bm, hit services, and there's a place where you can set up an appointment with many of us at the BEDC. We do entrepreneurship workshops and events. The loan guarantee program, we're going to get into that a little bit. The small business construction incubator, we've done a few of these. Economic empowerment zones, I'm going to talk about that a little later as well. Vendor markets and vending licenses. We conduct vendor markets and we offer vending license. Retail development program, the microloan program, we're going to get into that as well. HM Customs letter of credit program, business mentorship program, and international partnerships. Okay, let's kick off with the loan guarantee program. So we act as a guarantor for all small business loans. So for instance, if you are looking for a loan greater than say 30,000, because that's our microloan product, I'll get to that later. But if you're looking for a loan greater than 30,000, then you will have to go to one of the other financial institutions, i.e. the banks. And when you go there, what's going to happen is they're going to want some level of guarantee. Typically, it's 100%. They don't want to take any risk. So what we've done is that we will provide a BDC guarantee for 75% of that loan up to 300,000. Okay, so 300,000 is the cap. So if it's 100,000, so if you're going for a $100,000 loan, then we can go up to 75%, which would be 75,000. So 9.9 million is the total loan guarantee capacity. So what that means, right, is that we have 9.9 million set aside as the amount we can guarantee at any given year. We are the guarantor of last resort. Any small business that has no other means of collateral may apply for the guarantee. So we are the guarantor of last resort. For instance, if you have assets that can act as a guarantee, or not a guarantee, but as collateral to your loan. So collateral is similar or identical to a guarantor or guarantee. If you have a collateral that's saying you, for instance, property that's worth 500,000, whatever, then you should do that first. Now, if you don't, then we come in as last resort, if that makes sense. And so we have a partnership with all three banks and the Bermuda Credit Union. Oop. Did I miss something? No. Okay, the BEDC new startup payroll tax relief. This is a great one for anybody starting up a business. It reduces your expenses for a period of 4 tax periods. So this was created to help new businesses, to incentivize us entrepreneurs, you entrepreneurs. And so it started in April 1st, 2018. And the relief is specifically on the employer portion for all employees. As you know, when you pay payroll tax, there's the employer portion, which is a certain percentage, and the employee portion. Now, in this case, the employee portion, which the employee pays from their salary, deducted from their salary, that continues. But as the employer, as the entrepreneur, your portion is you have relief on that portion. And again, it's valid for 4 tax periods. What is 4 tax periods? That's a year. And be sure, guys, be sure to do this as soon as you start your business. Don't wait, 2, 3, 4, 6 months, because it's not retroactive. It's not retroactive. You'll lose that time. All right, the BDC HM Customs Letter of Credit. So this is specifically for retail businesses, for importing goods. The credit line is up to a maximum of $10,000 for 1 year. It can be renewed, meaning that, let me take a step back. Let me give you some context. The reason why this was created for retail businesses is because, retail businesses have a 3-month cycle. At least that is typical, say with a clothing company, or some sort of shoe company, or anything they have in inventory. 3 months is typically a time in which is allocated to getting that inventory in and moving that inventory out, selling it, right? So you don't want to keep stuff more than 3 months, typically, right? So what we said was, look, why don't we help these retailers out by ensuring that they don't have to reduce their cash flow by paying duty up, as soon as it arrives. Let's allow them to get some revenue generated from the inventory that they've brought in, so that they can maintain that cash flow, because cash is king, as you know, for businesses, particularly retail. So I'll read through these points. It can be renewed, meaning, let's say you brought in $3,000 worth of stuff, $3,000 worth of duty, and you paid that duty immediately on the 3rd month, then you can renew it again, right? I mean, so you start from scratch, if you will. And please send questions in if I'm totally not making sense. I make sense in my mind, but as I speak it, I'm thinking maybe you guys don't understand it. But in any rate, it allows inventory duty to be deferred. It's deferred up to 3 months. You have 3 months to pay it. It's for startup and existing businesses, and we guarantee this letter of credit. The BEDC does. So on your behalf, we once we get your application and it's approved, we guarantee that it will be paid. That's why Customs is willing and able to provide that relief, 3-month deferment. All right, the BDC Microlearn. Let's get all these bullet points in here. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, too far. Okay, so this was created because businesses oftentimes need that little cash injection. And this is for inventory purchases, contracts. So for instance, hey, look, I'm a service, I'm an electrician. I got a big contract coming down the line, but you know what? I need $20,000 to get all my get all the stuff required to get this contract done. And after the contract is finished in a year, guess what? I can pay this loan back and make a profit. Capital items, you name it, the microloan will fit, or is structured to fit your business needs, similar to any bank loan. Now, it's it's better than a bank loan, and I will get into that. So the loan comes directly from the BEDC, and and we have 4 different types. So you got the general microloan, we got debt consolidations. Say if you're a business, you had some debt that you just want to consolidate with a low interest rate, and you can do that. There's a sports club microloan that obviously is different than a business microloan, and then you got the growth microloan. But let me say this, so the microloan, if you want to get more details, go on bdc.bm, you would hit services and then programs, you'll see, and then you will see microloan. But I can give you some general, but some solid info about the microloan. One, interest rate, 3.5%. Amazing, right? Because if you go to the bank, you're looking at 8%. Why is it so low? Because we're here to support business, to support small and medium-sized businesses, and this is what we do. So the maximum loan amount is $30,000, and the maximum period is 3.5 years, which is 42 months. And we have the ability to structure some very unique terms based on the type of business, whether it be seasonality or something other. Okay, no questions so far, or maybe I am. Am I getting questions? Let me see. Let me look up. So I see for the BDC Guarantee, I'm a little late here, sorry. Is that loan of $3,300 per person, or is that total budget across all loan applicants? Yeah, okay, so for the guarantee, it's for the business, right? If you have if you're a sole proprietor, it's for that business. If it's a partnership and you got 3 people, it's for the business. So it's not for a person. So when you get a business loan, it's not necessarily for the person, albeit there's a difference between a sole proprietor and a limited liability company, right? So for a sole proprietor, when you go, and probably getting into a little bit more detail, but for a sole proprietor, when you go into get a loan, you yourself and your personal wealth is included in the loan. So if you defaulted, then they would come not only after the business, but also the guarantees or the collateral, and yourself as an individual. For limited liability, you personally are removed. However, they will come for all of the sounds actually terrible, but it's reality. They will come, they will reach out to get to satisfy the loan by taking those guarantees, the collateral that's been put up in place. Hopefully I answered that question. So it's not per person. All right, so the interest rate, as I said, 3.5%. Now, if you're in one of our economic empowerment zones, we've got them in 3 places: St. George's, Somerset, and Northeast Hamilton. There is an added incentive to operate in these areas, and so you get a 3% interest rate. So repayment terms for inventory and goods up to 9 months. Repayment terms for capital assets up to 42 months. And the processing time is usually 15 business days. Now, this is a big one, right? Because this depends also on the response time of the applicant, right? So if you put in your application, right, that and we were able to get it in and take a look at it. Now, it might not be fully complete, so we may have to come back out to you in a day or 2 or 3 and say, well, look, this is missing. So it's 15 business days from a completed application, right? Now, saying that, we are very diligent and in terms of getting the microloans and other applications completed. Why? Because we're entrepreneurs ourselves. We understand the importance of now or soon, and how terrible waiting too long can be for business. Because time is always of the essence. So because we're entrepreneurs ourselves and we're passionate about what we do, we try to be as quick as we can. So, and we're going to spend a little bit more time on the microloan because this is our #1 subscribed financial product that assists companies. So the microloan package contains, you're going to get the microloan scope, process, and product details. So this is going to be, if you will, your microloan Bible. It's going to basically tell you everything you need to know about the microloan, the process, and all the details within. Then you'll get a checklist. This is important. This is going to help your application get processed in the most efficient manner or quickly. If you have these things ticked, then you're more likely to get your application processed as quicker. Then you got the business profile. This is a template sort of business plan, and it's very straightforward. We ask, there is basically question and answer. What is your business? What is the history? You know, what is the, actually we're going to get into that, but at any rate, okay, business profile. And then you have the cash flow statement. Business plan checklist. I don't know why they have that again, but anyway, the cash flow statement, guys, between the business profile and the cash flow statement, the cash flow statement is probably, or projection, is the most important component. And so time has to be spent on this, on the cash flow projection. If you're an existing business, there's going to be a cash flow statement that we're going to look for. So that's the historic numbers, if you will. There's also a projection. I don't know if this is saying statement, but I know projection is going to be in there somewhere. But if not, I can get back to that. Personal income statement. This is an Excel spreadsheet. You fill it out as required. There's the microloan references. Sorry, you have one business, one personal. And then obviously there's an application form, 1 2-pager. So let me get back to the cash flow statement / project projection. The reason why this is key is because we need to understand the means of which you believe you're going to be successful. For an existing business, it's a little easier to do the projections because you have historical numbers, right? And so, you know, whether there is an additional revenue stream coming in, so we see a higher revenue, a little bit of expense, but hopefully a higher net profit. But that's fine. So it's a little easier for existing businesses. For startups and new businesses, you know, it's a challenge because you're thinking, well, how do I know? Well, so there's a lot of ways that you can get to a point where your projections are as solid as possible. One, we can help with that with the education opportunities that the entrepreneurial education opportunities that we offer. 2, you can do some research online. But at any rate, this is important because those projections are not going to just help you pay the loan back. You know, yes, that's what, you know, we have to be thoughtful of because this is the taxpayers' money we're loaning. But also, this is your livelihood. This is, you know, we want you to succeed. So the projections are key. Do we have any more questions up here? Yeah. All right, so this is the checklist. So if it's just real quick, if it's an existing business, bank statements for 3 months, financial information. This says required to submit at least 6 months of financial information. That's the cash flow statements. That is wrong. We got to change that. It's actually 12 months. 12 months. Always think 12 months when you're looking at an application, never 6 months. So this is another one. So if you're getting capital items, we need estimates and quotes. Even if it's for service stuff that you need, for instance, I need to get my X, Y, and Z fixed and the service. So we need quotes and estimates. The profile, location of business, that's lease, just so we know we can get a confirmation of where you are locating, if it's a physical address, if it's internet based, if it's online, if it's e-commerce, of course, that wouldn't apply. You got your references, application form, identification, ID, driver's license, passport, and then there's an application fee. The application fee is different than it is here. It's actually, you'll see it online when you go there. It's actually $75 or 0.75%. We've lowered it. And we lowered it at the start of COVID because we understood the financial challenge and outfall that would happen due to COVID. You got your, and then also there's a credit check of $50. Okay. Now, you might be thinking, Donte, sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I should. Donte Hunt. I work in the small and medium-sized business / enterprise unit. We deal directly with you guys as entrepreneurs. A little late, but better late than never. So Donte Hunt. So in any rate, you might be like, Donte, guess what? I owe some money. And I would say, guess what? A lot of people do. So that's not an issue, as long as you can produce that you have communicated with the credit association and you have a payment plan. And that would suffice. Okay, even if you have bad credit, you've got to reach out, get a payment plan, and start paying. And make sure that it's something doable. All right. No more questions? No. What is it? So when we say reference, this is an example of the reference that we provide a template, which makes it easy, right? Because I know when you go out to ask somebody to write a reference, they're thinking, what am I going to write? Albeit I love this person is great, awesome, but I got to write something. So we make it easy to, just fill in the blanks, tick, 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 maybe fill in some more blanks, sign it, done. Personal financial statement, not going to, well, this is a spreadsheet, right? So I'm not going to spend too much time on this. It's a spreadsheet with stuff you got to fill in, and you just fill it in. So we're not going to talk too much about that. Business profile. This is good. Yeah, let's spend some time on this. So these are the major topics that you're going to have to respond to. History and nature of business and/or background experience. Remember that you are letting us know why this business should obtain this loan and why you're going to be able to pay back the taxpayers' money, right? So you're gonna want to put some effort in this. I've seen 1 or 2 sentences, that's lackluster. You're excited about your business. Give us an understanding of what your business is, and some background experience if it's an existing business. General description, what is the business, what is the product or service, or is it new or an existing business? How did you come up with the idea? What will make your business stand out in the marketplace? Those are some of the things to consider as you write towards the section. Business location, where is the business? If it's brick and mortar. If it's not, well, you say it's online. Talk about the location. Is it a good location? If it's not, well, we both know that's a challenge. But where is it, and why is it there potentially? Are you easily accessible? This is all the stuff that I'm sure you would have thought going into the business. But guess what? If this is not the case, you can talk about how you're mitigating some of the challenges that you might have based on location. So, for instance, it might not be a desirable location, but you mitigated that sort of situation by doing something. I don't know, something creative. Maybe you have a sign that's big out on the main road that tells people where you're at. Is there parking? Are there competitors nearby? What are the hours of operation? Yep, if you're a mobile vendor or home business, same thing with internet. How does this work to your advantage? And so on and so forth. This is a good one. This is a key one. So here, ownership management and staff is important for any business, right? So you just don't want to say it's me and David and Cindy. You want to get in and say, well, it's me. These are my qualifications. I offer this. This is what makes the business succeed. I've got David, and David does this, and blah blah blah. And I've got Cindy as well. So you wanna, because as you go into business, obviously you want to have key personnel, those who are able to make sales, get contracts, get service, or do a good job. So you want to be able to sell that not only to us, but particularly to yourself, to make sure that you have the best people on board. Oh, I forgot this, the ownership structure. So it could be a sole proprietor, it could be a partnership, it could be a limited liability company. Let us know. Proposed use of funds. So you just want to list what funds, where the fund's going to go. And again, remember the quotes and the estimates, we need that as well. Describe how the purchases will increase revenue for the business. Now, for a startup company, this doesn't really apply, but you do want to. But I guess it does, right? Because if you're purchasing a capital item, you're going to say, well, look, I need, for instance, a popcorn vending or popcorn or a movie situation. You say, well, look, I need to get a popcorn machine because I can get revenue from persons coming into my drive-through movie or whatever, but I can get additional revenue with a popcorn machine. It just helps us to understand what's going on and how the funds can best help you. Market and competition, always, right? So, sometimes, I've heard from persons that they would say, look, there's no competitors. There's always competitors. If not now, soon, right? And that's okay. There's never a time where any business can operate without competition. As soon as money is being made, there's going to be competitors, and that's okay. It's how you adapt, how you pivot, and how you create a niche. How do you create being the best? So who is your customer market? Who are you targeting? Who is going to buy your product? Why are they going to buy your product? So it's age, demographics. Is it a direct purchase? Is it directly, buyer coming, buying it and using that product? Or is it like a toy for a toddler where it's an indirect purchase? It's a parent coming, uncle, aunt coming in and buying for somebody else. So who is your target market? Who's your competition? And think hard about this one. It's when I see it's no competition, I'm like, okay, potentially, but is it somewhat competition, right? Because you might have a unique product that does say that. Let me think of an example. Can't think of one that does X, and you're saying, well, look, this other company sort of does the X, but it doesn't compare, or it's totally different. But they have a choice. The customers have a choice. They can kind of choose either one, even though you may think that yours is hands down the one they're going to choose. But really think hard about the competition because it's important, again, for you, not just for the loan, not just to convince us. It's important for you because you're going to have to not only pay the loan, but this is also going to be your livelihood or your dream, and you want that to come true. Is there any research that will support your plan? Let me read that. Is there any research that will support? I'm not sure what that means, to be honest. How will you position yourself to stand out in the market? Yes, we're going to talk about that. You want to say, how are you going to, how are you going to create this niche? How are you going to rise above? How are you going to get your share of the market? Will you be advertising on social media? Your marketing plan, definitely key. How will you be getting out there and getting the word out? Okay, projected revenue. Guys, look, this one. This is up there with, in terms of the most important section. This is up there with the cash flow projections, right? Let me go back to the cash flow projections real quick. Soliciting help from an accountant or somebody who is financially astute, for those who are not necessarily well-versed in, say, cash flow projections, cash flow statements, profit loss, balance sheet, the whole financial side, that's okay. You will learn in time. That shouldn't hold you up. But don't start. I would suggest not starting your business without having someone who can fill that gap. Many people have succeeded, but they only got to the point, and I can be so bold to say they only got to a point where they can truly succeed and truly turn that corner once they understood their financials and they were actually taking proper financials, right? So key. Now, there's a section in the business profile. It's called the projected revenue and expenses, right here. Now, a lot of times I see individuals say, see cash flow statement. Well, that defeats the whole purpose. The cash flow projection, it's just a numbers, right? So you have, and we'll get to what it looks like for those of you who don't know. What it looks like, you got a revenue section, you've got an expense section, and then you've got the result, the bottom section, net profit loss. So this is just numbers. We can take a look. We look at these a lot. We understand industries, but what we need to do is get into your head. How did you get, for instance, and most importantly, this is relating to the revenue side. Expenses are pretty straightforward, right? Utilities, they're what they are. Internet, blah blah blah, rent. That's typically a no-brainer. Just throw those bad boys in. But for the revenue, which is the bread and butter of the business, how did you come up with 10,000? How did you come up with 30,000? Why is it 30,000 across the board? Why did not? Is it seasonal? Blah blah blah. So this is the section that you're going to break down how you came up with your numbers, right? Why, and you can break it down to very bite-sized pieces. I have a widget. My widget sells for X amount. Based on my research, I believe that we can sell 10 of these a day, reasonably, being conservative. Why? Because this is a hard product that's used daily. Persons need it all the time, and in this location they can't get it within 10 miles either direction. So I figured this is, and we've tried it out, and so you've got to, not only do you have to build a case for, again, and I sound like a broken record, but that's fine. Not only are you trying to sell your idea, pitch your idea to us so that you get the loan, You got to be doing it for yourself. So so you got to put in that work, right? You got to put in that work that helps you get your projections as accurate as possible. If you see me look up and just seeing if there are any questions. No questions. Right.
There are
SWOT
a few
analysis.
questions, Donte.
Oh, I don't know why I don't see these questions, man. Okay, so shoot. Where would I see them? I'm looking. He's gone.
It should be in the questions tab. If not, I can answer them for you or ask them.
Yeah, ask them for me. Go shoot some out.
No problem. Someone asked, can a QuickBook cash flow statement be used? So I'm guessing that's for the cash flow and projections.
Yes, that is ideal, right? Because
Okay.
QuickBooks is one of the quintessential accounting softwares, right? So you're gonna put in your revenues, put in your expenses as they come in. Don't even worry. Don't wait to the end of the. Well, I would suggest don't wait to the end of the month and have like all these receipts and stuff, and then pop them in as they come in, bang them out. But yeah, and at the end of whatever period, you can print off a cash flow statement, and that could be the basis of your projections.
Another question is, do references have to be from a non-family member?
Yeah, it's no family members.
Okay, and then
So,
last one, there are many audit requirements for businesses and fees for deficiencies for non-compliance. Is there a resource available to know which audits affect business types in order to avoid audit fee?
so audits are not for every company. So for a sole proprietor, there would be no reason to provide an audit to anybody. However, if you look at a charity, they definitely have to do. They have to have an audit each year. For limited liability companies. You've got to send in your financials to the BMA every year to maintain your status as a limited liability company. It's not necessarily an audit. And then you've got other categories of businesses, business structures that require an audit. But for the most part, for small and medium-sized businesses, audits are not necessarily required. Now, whoever asked that question, can you be a little bit more specific in terms of why you would be getting audited?
On for now, does a business have to be registered through tax commission to apply for a microloan?
Yes, 100%. You can't be a business. Well, it's illegal to be operating as a business and not be registered with payroll tax. So there are some penalties if you're doing that. So in order to be a legitimate business, not a vendor, it's different, but if you're a legitimate business operating on a consistent basis, getting a consistent revenue and income, then you have to register with payroll tax. If this is your full-time gig, you have to register with social insurance. If you have employees, then you have the government obligations of employee benefits, which are in the full-time, which is private pension and health insurance.
Those are the questions for now.
Okay. SWOT analysis. So the SWOT analysis is a part of the profile. So and many of you may have heard of the SWOT: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. That makes up the acronym SWOT. So you're going to describe your strengths, any weaknesses of the business, and here's the key. For the weaknesses and the threats, right? What we require is you provide mitigating factors, risk factors. So what is a mitigating risk factor? Okay, well, my weakness is my signage is not prominent, small. People don't see it. They try to find the office so they can't find it. Well, provide a mitigating risk factor, which is, well, you know, we need $500 to get a bigger sign. It will be huge, and everybody will see it. So either you're going to do it through the loan, or you are saving up $100 a month, and you're going to get it in 5 months. So we always want a mitigating risk factor. You want that. Again, I get back to, you're not just providing this for us. This is your roadmap, and you're helping yourself by actually completing the documentation for your requirements and your needs. So this is a cash flow projection. I know it's small, guys, but so if you see my cursor here, you got you got the top section, which is the revenue side. So you might have 3 revenue streams, and I would encourage you to break out your revenue streams in reasonable categories. So, and I'm not saying if you have a retail store, socks, shorts, pants, no. So that's a little bit too detailed. But if you know, if you have a retail store and let's say you have men's clothing, females clothing, jewelry, eyeglasses, you know, that sort of thing, you want to break them out for your purposes again, but for ours as well. Expenses are expenses. They are what they are. So you're going to put those in here as well. For retail stores, there's the cost of goods sold, which, you know, a lot of times persons have a formula, sort of a certain percentage of sales. That's fine. But this is in essence what our cash flow statement or looks like, or projection looks like. And this is what they look like, period. So we have a template that you fill out. Fees, good old fees. So again, this is wrong. It's not $150 right here. Okay, let me start from the beginning. So it's not 150, it's 75 or 0.75%. The credit check is $50. You know, we do need ID, of course, to ensure that you're a Bermudian. Now, if you're a non-Bermudian, you have to have a partner, and the Bermudian must hold a minimum of 60% of the business. Now, that doesn't mean remuneration. That doesn't mean salary. It means ownership. So you can have somebody who earns 60% as a Bermudian, but gets no salary, or maybe gets a small dividend. So if you're unsuccessful, you will be refunded the $50 credit check. All right, so this is the tail end of everything. How do you apply for the microloan for the, how do you apply for the microloan? What you're gonna do is you do it online. Everything is online. So we don't send out, say, applications as officers. We'd always guide you back to the online process. So you would go online, and in fact, you have, yes, you do have to, as I look at this picture, you do have to become a member first. However, what I would do, let me see if I can quickly on the fly get to the website, and okay. Okay, can you see this? Deshaun, can you see? You can see my screen, right?
Yes, Microlearn program.
All right. So, what you would do, actually, yeah, it's let's get back to the beginning. BDC.bm. You're going to get to the main page, and you're going to hit services. You're going to go down to programs, which my screen is too small here. Programs, and then Microlearn. Bam. And this is everything you need to know about the Microlearn. Take some time, take a read. See the 75 or 7.5%, 3.5% interest, 3% interest. Oh, I forgot the application fee for businesses operating in the EEZ is $50 and 0.5%, or 0.5%, whichever is greatest. So you go through this, you take a read, and how do I apply? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a 6-step process, and you just follow the process, and off you go. All right, let me get that. All right, so we've come to the end. So this is what, well, once you click on register, you're going to see something like this, a page like this. We done, finish. Any questions, any thoughts? Any more?
Yeah, we have one question so far. Can we have some more context on the EEZs and what are the criteria for them?
When you context for the EEZs, I'm not sure what you mean. Context or contacts, like a person, or
No, like,
where are you specifically?
yeah.
Okay,
Like,
so
what are they? Follow up, what are they?
St. George's EEZ starts from the St. George's sign. Somerset starts from Willowbank and goes to the bridge. Yes, the bridge as you go over to Dockyard before Woody's. And then you have where else? Oh, my area. My area is a little different. Northeast Hamilton, it's Victoria Street. Then it goes along King Street. It's rather difficult. We have it online in order to actually see the visual of how it goes. And if you're considering any one of the locations and you have a question of, is this location exactly in the EEZ, shoot us an email. We'll let you know. And then what was the other question? What was the other part? Context and
Criteria.
Criteria. What does that mean? Criteria to,
I guess maybe to be a part of an EEZ, or I guess how does that happen?
just be in an EEZ. Just as long as you're operating within an EEZ, you're in. And so you have, and there are other incentives as well. For instance, if you move to an EEZ and you're an existing business, because you remember I talked about the new payroll tax, new business startup payroll tax relief. So that's an incentive for people creating businesses, right, and startups. But there's an incentive for existing businesses or startups, but whether you're existing business or not, and you move into a EEZ, then you can get 2 years of payroll tax relief from the employer side just by moving in. So the criteria to get those incentives is to be within an EEZ.
Yep, those are all the questions.
Okay, so we're complete. We got 9 minutes. Hopefully this was helpful, and we appreciate you guys for attending. Take care.